You have to trust what's in your soul and get in alignment with that. Forgive yourself, forgive your person for any words that were said that went against love. Choose in consciousness the love, choose in consciousness the relationship, the marriage, the health. Choose also the money. So I want to talk again about how your desires are planted there by something much, much greater than you, but that you're not separate from that something that's much, much greater than you. Anything that's truly in your heart and soul already is created. And the reason why you feel such a pulling towards it, whether this is your specific person or becoming a doctor, lawyer, engineer, a best-selling author, when you're wanting to do something in your life that is basically leveling yourself up in your experience, being married to your specific person, having a beautiful home together, having children together, or pets together, whatever you desire, whatever you feel in your heart and soul, you're feeling that for a reason. And sometimes people beg, like literally beg and to God to please help, but it's like God is saying to you, would you please listen? Just listen, trust in me. And sometimes when we do listen and we take a couple steps forward, then something might literally oppose us. Something might show up in a thought, a dream, in your imagination, or in your life, in a manifestation of your life. Your material world is real, but it is changeable. It's fear itself is an illusion and separation is an illusion, but that doesn't mean that you're living in a fake world. It's just that your reality, as solid as it seems, is changeable and it changes according to your belief system. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I don't have too much time, but I want to read a little bit out of The Power of Awareness. Your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully and thereby change your future. Imagination is able to do anything, but only according to the internal direction of your attention. If you persist night after night, sooner or later, you will awaken in yourself a center of power and become conscious of your greater self and the real you. Attention is developed by repeated exercise or habit. Through habit, an action becomes easier, and so in the course of time gives rise to a facility or faculty, which can then be put to higher uses. Currently, if you're consistently in fear, distrust, seeking for evidence outside of you through watching for to see if there's a change on your specific person's social media, for example, that's a habit. But that's a habit in alignment with separation. So you want to let go of that habit and create a new healthy habit. And the best way to do that is when your subconscious is wide open, like in the morning when you wake up, for example, before you let the outside world into your little private reality bubble, before you let your ego come in and start to like pull you out of alignment, start to feed you lies and fears and your limiting beliefs. You want to step into power, trust, gratitude, and you also want to be affirming for yourself, love for yourself in other areas of your life, as well as with your specific person. Then you stay embodying that. It's like you decided, I trust in this. I trust myself. I know that this is done. I experience this, and you're creating a new habit. So you're consistent. And then you won't be pulled out of alignment so much through doing the bad habits when you stay in alignment with that all throughout the day. You decided this is who you are. So it really wouldn't make sense for you to do these other things. So start to have a really healthy boundary with yourself and don't do things, whatever that is, to pull you out of alignment of your truest heart's desire of being with your mirror soul, with your specific person. I have a client who I absolutely adore, And we have had sessions over the years. He spends time with his mirror soul, and they are so perfect together. You can see by looking at them that they are truly created for each other. And she even says to him, she even says words like, "I'm your mirror." But then she'll say something that may go a little bit of against of the end of being together. But anyway, what happens is, look at my little man watch. What happens is he ends up spending time with her. They have mutual friends now. Everybody in their circles are always saying things about them as like as if they were a couple. So everything is kind of in alignment, right? But then, like, say, for example, he might go out dancing with her. They'll be very close. Now, she knows how deeply in love with her he is. She is very much aware of that. They'll be dancing, they'll get very close, she'll be very flirtatious, they'll hold each other, she'll do things. They'll be like a couple. And then after that, maybe they end up talking and in a group of friends, in a circle of friends. And then he might start to notice her on her phone or then notice her talking to other men. Now, what I would do if it were me is I would enjoy the moments together as the partner. If I know now we're about to be in a circle of friends, and I know this is an area that usually triggers me, I would probably turn away and talk with someone else and maybe even walk away and maybe go dancing myself for a little while. That's what I would do because I want to remain embodying being the wife. I don't want to end up being triggered by a little bit of the old story that's literally being kept alive because of these little habits. Do you see what I'm saying? So, anyway, you have to trust what's in your soul and get in alignment with that. Forgive yourself, forgive your person for any words that were said that went against love. Just you need to forgive it and let it go. Create healthy habits. Stay consistent with that. Choose in consciousness the love. Choose in consciousness the relationship, the marriage, the health. Choose also the money. Sometimes when somebody is leveling up and now they're saying like they want to own a home, for example, and then they start to actually in the 3D, they start to the process, because they want their freedom. They don't want to be living with a roommate anymore or whatever. They want a home and maybe they'll start to look into getting a mortgage and things like that. So live from the end that you already have the home, number one. Start to go and line everything up, start to go look at homes, this and that. Then sometimes what happens, which is actually a good thing, they might literally get laid off almost immediately. If by the way, if their truest soul's desire is to be their own boss and to have their own business and they were working for someone else and then this thing happened, this is a really good push in the right direction. Give thanks for it. Literally give thanks for it. And then embody owning the home, embody potentially if you desire to having your own business, a successful invention, no matter what it is. And again, if in the 3D something opposes you, it's okay. Your business is God's business, and God's business is always successful. Sometimes people, like even when I was wanting to prove to everybody that manifestation was real and I created my interior design business, there were many things that happened that were so painful and so hard and so scary. I remember one time in particular, there were like five iterations of the store location. But one time out of nowhere, my landlord, oh my God, it was so bad. Like this other restaurant came in, like, big wealthy people come in and they open a restaurant nearby and they decide they want my location. So my landlord literally told me I had like, I don't know, 30 days to leave or something like that. And I'm like, that felt really devastating, right? But I had already proven my concept. I already proved that people loved my business. People loved what I sold. So, so that means that God, universe, source, infinite intelligence actually wants to put me in potentially a better location. Then what happened? I got very light about it. I ended up going and visiting one of my favorite little towns. after work or on the weekend or whatever, I was drawn to this location. It was already populated with another business, but I was like, this is, I can feel this. This is where I belong. Long story short, a very short amount of time, literally, this wealthy millionaire who owns all of the properties in that area travels to see me to ask if I've ever considered opening a store in that city and then gave me that exact address and said, I actually have a tenant that's going to be leaving. That's not the whole story, but I've come on and I've shared this before. This gives you an example of how sometimes something very devastating can happen when you've created something. But this thing that's coming up can't stop you. This is where we want to step into the yes, this may be solidified, this may have happened, but we want to go back into the end and trust that we were listening to our soul with whatever this was, the relationship with that person, the business idea, the business concept, the invention, whatever it is. So the opposition comes up. It's painful. Give yourself love, but don't stay down. Get back in alignment and trust that something will happen through obviously people in your reality, people in the community or whatever, or somehow, some way, when you just, okay, it happened, try to give yourself love, then kind of also enjoy yourself, do things to lighten up your mood, have fun in the face of adversity. And then after you've done all that and you've been consistent, go back into your end and trust that everything that needs to happen, even through the people in the community, through people you know, people you don't know, adversaries will become supporters. That is infinite intelligence, God, the divine, the light working through everybody. Because why? Again, it's God's relationship, it's God's business. It's everything. God is literally in everything and everyone. Okay, you are a vessel, a channel, you're the masterpiece, you are the manifestation of the creator. You were created to create on behalf of the creator. So you are this grand, amazing, incredible dream, and your dreams were planted in you because they're already fulfilled. Creation is already done. So you just have to trust what's in your heart of heart, in your soul, no matter what opposition comes up. It simply does not matter, meaning it matters. It turns into solidified matter with your consistent fear and awareness of it, but it doesn't matter in the respect of it will stop becoming solidified matter when you stop giving it the power of your imagination and your attention. Okay, so the lesson for today is whether it's with your specific person, your true love, a life together, a home together, a successful business, a promotion, whatever is in your heart and soul already exists. So go to the end and trust in that. And if the opposition showed up, still get back in alignment in trust and stay consistent with that. Allow whatever needs to happen, and it will. It will. It will happen between or through, sorry, it will happen through other people in your reality. So stay consistent with what you want, not with what you don't want. I love you so much. Please affirm down below that you have received this message. If you need me, obviously just reach out. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.